swim with the tide. I don't walk the dreaded path. I refuse to dance to the beat of a regular drum. The real question isn't about being different. The real question is, why? Is it for shock and awe? Is it being different to stand out from the rest? Or is it just to be annoying? Are these illusions of self-grandeur, or is it to shock society into awareness, to question the unquestionable? Regardless of purpose and intent, I find it impossible to follow the herd. Conventional wisdom to me is an absurd notion. Many of you will not concur with me. Some will dismiss, others will rise against it. If you don't agree with me, raise your hand and get in line. I am the Contrarian, and this is my world.
Is that valuables then? No, more interesting, more personal. Things like snapshots, letters, little trinkets for Christmas, cracker, envelope, photos, form cards, notes. Sort of unconscious collection.
Your life, your home, your personal details, all your passwords and security codes, everything confidential, precious and private about your life is now public knowledge. Vulnerable, easily accessible, a digital thief's dream come true. This is probably how it used to happen in the past. This is how it happens today.
We live in the digital world, and in this world of smartphones, tablets, phablets, and all those very smart devices, even thieves have gone digital. And why not? All our private information is now on our devices. You make an online purchase, your banking details are compromised. You log into Facebook, your contacts, picture, location, and 20 other things are up for grabs. You're so much into the download of an app that even the most incompetent hacker can remotely access your device to steal all your precious data. So on popular demand from all of you, our viewers, we are revisiting this topic, but in extreme detail. We got ethical hacker Saket Modi back onto the show, and today he'll show you just how easy it is to get into your personal devices. And once again, small warning. When you're doing this, when you're watching this show, sit down and watch it, because if you're standing, you may well faint.
I have out here my friend Jyoti with me. She has a very costly smartphone with her in her hands, and of course that's the hacker sitting out there, that's Atul, and he has made this absolutely brilliant kind of a tool using which you can get a complete access of this mobile phone on that particular tablet, and we're going to show that to you right now. So what we're doing out here is we are trying to go inside, and we will go to the internet, and we will try to download an APK file that we have customized and made. So as you can see, we are trying to search this file, and we have downloaded this file. It's a very small 140 KB file, which you can see comes down on the phone, and we click on open and install, and it's as simple as that. The moment that happens, the screen disappears from the phone, and the phone is as perfectly normal as you would have before I took over the phone or I did something interesting on the phone. Now the next part is even more interesting, where we show you what's potentially possible on this mobile phone without this mobile phone owner knowing that this is happening. So we go back to the screen. As you clearly see on this tablet, we've opened our website lucidroid.com, and this clearly says initially, please select a device to get started. When we click on the device, it asks us select what you would like to view, and of course you can see from the array of options, call logs, SMS, contacts, browsing history, GPS coordinates, tracking history, audio recording, and capture image. It's all possible on her phone without her knowing that this is happening. The moment we want, we clicked on a phone and we click on call logs, and the moment we do that, as you can clearly see, you will be able to get the list of call logs. Atul, you might want to show this entire thing. So as you can see, these are the entire list of all the call. Jyoti, are those your call logs? Yes, are you scared about that? We're just starting, we're just warming up. Let's go to the second option that clicks on SMS, and of course without showing you the actual messages which are there inside, but that is the list, and if you can just scroll up, Atul, it will give you the entire list of all the messages which are there on the device right now without her even knowing. And if you see, if you can just put your device in a normal standby mode, you will not even know, but your phone device is very normal. It's not performing in any kind of a different way, but I'm getting the entire list of all the messages. If you click on GPS, if you click on contacts, you get the entire list of all the contacts which are there on this phone, which are right now being sucked out of this phone and coming on our servers, and you can clearly see that. And of course you have the tracking history and audio recording that's possible. Audio recording actually means where you can go ahead and record this phone right now, so whatever I'm speaking gets recorded and comes to my server, and of course the hacker can listen to all the video recording or the audio recording that's happening. And of course the capture image clearly shows you the picture which can be clicked both from the back and the front camera from the phone. How did this happen? We simply installed an application with all the permissions on this particular phone, and of course we were able to see all of that and show you on our servers. How do you safeguard yourself from all of this is the most important point, and that's where applications like UnHack come into the picture. So what we're trying to do today out here is that, as you see, that these are typically 5 systems connected to the same network which you would ideally have in your office, or in your workplace, or any other place for that matter. So these 5 computers connected to each other are talking to each other for obvious reasons, because they are all connected to the internet, they do file sharing, they have their email services going on parallelly. What we're going to try and do out here is, we will try to start and see that with one single click in each of their computers, and by the way they are running the standard operating systems, which is the Windows 7 or Windows 8 in each of their systems, which are supposed to defend by themselves, which is not true. So what we'll do out and we'll see out here is that with one single click on one file, all of these 4 machines will be reverse connected to the hacker computer, which is this computer, and we will be able to get the connections, and not just the connections, but right from their entire file structure till doing something very scary on each of the system, irrespective of the antiviruses or the firewalls which might be installed on their systems. So as you see right now, we will try and show you this file which looks like a very innocent looking icon, which can be sent to you using a phishing mail by your boss, by your colleague, by your friend, or somebody from your family. And the moment you click on this particular file, as you clearly see, there is a standard pop-up which comes into the screen, which can also be disabled by the hacker. The moment that happens, the computer remains as normal and natural as you can imagine. But there is something very interesting that just happened on the hacker's computer. What just happened, as you can clearly see, that this is the hacker's computer, and you can clearly see that there are 4 of these machines which are reverse connecting to this hacker computer. And the moment you click and you go there, so you will be getting a host of options, as you can see on the screen, and I'll start with a very basic one, which is a remote desktop connection. This gives me an access to all the things that I can do or that person is doing on his computer, and as you can clearly see, I can actually go ahead and click on his behalf and browse through the desktop and do exactly the same thing that the person is being able to do on his laptop, but without his control or without his permissions. Not just that, if I close this, there's something way more interesting right below that, and that's an option by the name of View Web Camera. So you heard it right, you will be able to see, and I'm going to show you live right now on how is it possible. And yes, as you can see, this is the live picture of the person without him knowing, and you can see that web camera is being recorded and being transferred, that those images are being transferred to me live right now without the person knowing that this is happening. So that's potentially possible, and of course there's an array of options which are available. It depends on the hacker, whatever he wants to do.
Wow, now that was scary. Now you see how simple it is to get into a system or a device and steal all kinds of information? But now that we've shown you the dark side, let's show you something that gives us a ray of hope. Yes, it's not all lost. This is the part where we show you how we can save your devices from hack attacks.
Meet the app that can make your devices hacker-proof. The app's called UnHack and it's still under development by the Lucideus team. This smart app uses a complex and obviously secret code to make you privy of just which information in your device is vulnerable to attacks. You can now know what app can access your call logs, your pictures, your contacts, and you can customize permissions for your devices on your term. Sounds simple, doesn't it?
Now, this UnHack app sounds like a great idea, but is that the only way to secure your data? Can device manufacturers and even we as users take more precautions to keep us all safe? All that and more when we get Saket Modi back in our studios. Get ready for part 2 of the big hacking debate right after the break. Isn't that a dangerous sign for the fact that most people think of hacking as intruding the privacy of people that they know and want to know just far too much about?
See, we live in this falsely committed world of security where if we are spending money, we assume that we get the security, while the security when we spend money on any, whether it's a Samsung or on an Apple or a Micromax, the 50% part of the entire security lies in the hands of the developers, while the other half is us.
I am the Contrarian. This is my world. I am the Contrarian. This is my world.
Hi, I'm Saket Modi. We run this organization, a geeky organization which deals with security for a lot of corporates, a lot of government agencies, and I'm here today to take on Rajiv, and I'm of the favor that it's still okay to use your devices if you use it intelligently.
Welcome back. Now, what do I say welcome back to? This is a follow-up show. It's only at your request. But the way to say welcome back to part 2 now is completely changed. We did a show, like I did say, even in the documentary, we did a show on hacking and all the vulnerabilities that we have for normal everyday life. When that show was broadcast, the response we got back was huge. Some people called it a nightmare that was actually unfolding in front of their very eyes on their TV screen. Some people said every deep-rooted fear of theirs came alive. So I don't know what to call this as part 2, but let's just call it Nightmare of Your Digital Life part 2. And we're going to do a lot more than what we just showed you. So you demonstrated the fact that you can actually hack into at network level and make a call, and it would seem like it's coming from somebody else's number.
Absolutely.
You can even send an SMS from that person's number. It would look like you've got it. I mean, this could create serious havoc in this world, right? Now, I understand that it's done and it can be done, and every one of us is vulnerable to it. But the potential of using that and misusing that is vast, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a dangerous sign for the fact that most people think of hacking as intruding the privacy of people that they know and want to know just far too much about?
See, we live in this falsely committed world of security where if we are spending money, we assume that we get the security, while the security when we spend money on any, whether it's a Samsung or on an Apple or a Micromax, the 50% part of the entire security lies in the hands of the developers, while the other half is us. You know, we can't be foolish. If we lock our house and go ahead and give the key to a stranger, it's foolish for us to do that. It doesn't matter which lock you have. It can be $1 million lock also.
You've given away the key.
Absolutely. So that is almost the scenario that we are facing today. And people do not understand that. So rather than, I feel, anybody, you don't have to be a geek to know this, But understanding how vulnerable you are when you're using it as an extension of yourself is very, very crucial.
So if you do know this can happen, then you're not blindly doing things where you live under the illusion of
that everything
I'm
is
safe
good
and secure. But let's again get down to one other part which becomes really critical when you talk about all things security, right? You know, by imparting this information and this knowledge, we're also leaving people now more scared with no solutions. And that I find to be the part that is the most scary. I mean, the same way as we give an example, this is what could happen to you. I mean, when the cops show us a documentary of drunk driving and they show 80 truly bad accidents and then they say, don't drink. It leaves me absolutely mind-boggled to think that's the solution. Tell people, be secure. No, I'm not going to do that on this show. So what I want to do is, first I'm going to find out from you, and this is not for those people who will say, I want to do an unhacking course or a hacking course. I want to safeguard myself by investing the next 1 year of my life educating and studying. I'm saying this is for people that lead busy lives. Things that they have to do every single day. And without spending more than 10-15 seconds of their life between awareness and doing something right. I'm going to come up with some of the solutions you've given, right? So one is an app that your own company has made, but now let's find out from you what would be the biggest thing somebody can do every day in their daily life, besides the one you gave last time, which is if you download an app, be very careful what permissions you're giving away. What else? I mean, is there a battery of 4 or 5 things I should keep in my mind, like, should I be walking around with my Wi-Fi on? Should my Bluetooth be on? What about NFC? What about all these technologies that we're using to constantly talk with wearable technology? Is this okay? Are there ways to keep us less vulnerable? What's the greatest fear I should have?
So, so quantitatively giving you an initial answer to, you know, what are the ways by which you ideally should be securing yourself. So right from the basics, of course, right from not handing over your phone to especially innocent looking people.
Especially to innocent, okay.
That's one social engineering.
Okay. So
yeah,
that's how they recruit them? Okay, very innocent, you're part of my hacking team, right? Okay.
A lot of people try to do that, but yes, they're like, obviously not giving away your phone, because you've seen what happens in 20 seconds of your phone in somebody's hand. It can really be devastating forever. So that's number one. Number two is, of course, try to stay as disconnected as you can. I know that's a very difficult choice to make in a day.
You know, that's really the Hobson's choice, right? I mean, you're saying don't use technology the way it was intended.
Right.
Curtail it.
Correct.
It's very difficult for people. But what do you mean by that?
So that brings me to the main solution around all of these individual quantitative solutions. I feel the most important thing that a person who's using, and everybody is using the internet, the mobile phone and the laptops today, instead of thinking of how can you secure your own self, I feel there needs to be a shift in the way they think. If you assume that the data that you're putting on the phone, it can be only in your inbox, it can be a draft message, it can be a personal message being sent to a friend of yours on Facebook, it can be a personal email. If you assume that that is already being monitored, it's already being watched. So rather than thinking that how can I secure this, you're assuming that this is already being watched on, and that's why I need to take the right precaution. I feel that change can really change everybody's life.
So you're saying this is a perception change, this is a mindset change, that every single thing you do digitally, assume it's being watched.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay. So this brings back a whole different phrase in my mind, maybe from the 16th century, people who live in glass houses. Okay? So people who live in glass houses, so your digital world is like a glass house. Every single thing you're doing on your digital information, communication and messaging, assume it to be available to all.
Everybody.
So therefore you'll be able to take better decisions in life. Okay.
And if you're in a glass house, change your clothes in the basement.
That's true. I mean, the glass house has a glass floor too, so make sure that people aren't standing on top of you when you're doing that, right?
Yes.
You know, I really hope that this show, and our purpose this time was not to leave people hanging with fear, but to be able to answer a few questions. But this last one that you've said has made me really think right now. So will I be making some drastic changes in my life? Is what I'm going to be doing, and I think so should you. It's very interesting to think that the perception and state of mind is more important than any digital firewall and any which way to secure yourself. If every single thing that you do on your digital phone, on your digital tablet, on your digital laptop. Think everything digital, think everything electronic, think everything device. If everything you assume is available to others, maybe you'll be more secure than ever before. Thank you, and hopefully your nightmare that we started off with part 1 has become a bit dreamlike now. We'll see you next week right here on the show. Thank you very much.
I am the Contrarian, and this is my world.